guys, my name is Zach, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Curlec. We're a Malaysian-based FinTech company that makes it really easy for businesses of all sizes to collect recurring payments and take control of their cash flow. And how we do this is that we build technology on top of banking payment infrastructure. So Curlec started off in early 2018, and since then, we picked up significant traction. We processed over $100 million through our platform, and diversified a little bit from what our original offering was, which was really focusing on enabling underserved SMEs to access a previously inaccessible direct debit bank-to-bank payment mechanism. We've broadened our product already, and we can do, and I'm quite proud to say actually that we are the only company in Malaysia now to do fully automated recurring online banking and card payments through our platform in Malaysia, seamlessly and through an API as well. So whilst, payments is really the bread and butter of the company, in fact, our longer term vision and product roadmap is to go a little bit beyond payments, but, still really stick with the recurring payments theme or recurring revenue theme. And it's to really go deeper in sort of the recurring revenue lifecycle or value chain for a business, because here at Curlec, we're big believers in this whole notion of the subscription economy. And we want to own every component that there is, for a business, and provide all the tools for businesses to enter the subscription economy, all from sort of how you onboard customers, the whole order process, all those various subscription tiers and management and all that, the complexities that are along with that. Billing and invoicing, payments, which is what we already do, and we will continue to add more payment channels to, our existing ones. Reconciliation, all the sales and data analytics that go along with it. So really end-to-end recurring revenue management for businesses, firstly starting in Malaysia, but then secondly, obviously with a regional presence as well, because I don't think we built this business just to be a Malaysian business. We built it to sort of serve firstly ASEAN businesses, but then the rest of Asia. We want to be the #1 player in this space. And in terms of sort of the message that I want to send out, I guess to the rest of the world, is that, do keep an eye out on Curlec. We're growing rapidly. We've got a pretty scrappy team, lean team at the moment, and we're growing extremely quickly, and we are just on the cusp of rapid expansion. From an investor standpoint, we're going through our Series A round very, very soon, early next year. So open to speaking to many investors. From a partners and clients perspective, always on the lookout for guys who, are in this space, have some sort of recurring revenue model, or want to serve businesses in that space. We're all ears, whether it's banking partners, software partners, or just general business partners. And of course, from a talent perspective, we're building this company, like I said, not to be a Malaysian company, to be a Southeast Asian company, to be an Asian company. And, really for us, we feel that this whole idea of the subscription economy is something that we're literally just scratching the surface on, in this part of the world. And really, we are looking for people to come in, join our growing team, in what is going to be a super exciting journey as we start to, enable businesses and consumers to enter this new world, what we think is going to become the new normal. So I think, like I said, summarize message for the world: watch out for Curlec, because we are coming your way real soon. Investors, clients, partners, talent, watch out for us. We're coming. Hi, everyone. My name is Zach, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Curlec. Curlec is a Malaysian-based FinTech company that makes it really easy for businesses of all sizes to collect recurring payments and take control of their cash flow. And how we do this is that we build technology on top of banking payment infrastructure. So the problem that we're solving at Curlec is that collecting recurring payments is extremely difficult for businesses. Having the ability to truly take control of your cash flow and make sure you get paid on time has never really been an option. And that's been particularly exacerbated over this pandemic. And why is that? Well, our thesis is that it's due to the lack of adequate payment options that have historically been used by businesses here. And as you can see from this slide here, the previous methods that have historically been used for collections simply just don't cut it. And if we sort of work our way through this, from the left-hand side, cash, check, bank transfers. All of these are push-based payments, manual, and generally speaking, useful for one-off transactions where I'm relying on a buyer to push and send money to a seller. And it's no good for a recurring revenue model because I've got to chase payments. They're often late payments, and I can't get paid on time. Sort of down the middle, we're looking at credit cards, which from a mechanism point of view is great. I can collect recurring payments. Think about when you set up your Spotify or Netflix. The issue with this, though, is why it's not so good for recurring payments or recurring revenue business model. Firstly, very expensive when you process through the Visa MasterCard network. Limited reach. If you sort of take credit card penetration in Malaysia as an example, we're looking at less than 20% of the population. And on top of that, certain processing technicalities such as the way in which credit cards expire and the inefficiencies that this causes for subscription or recurring revenue models. And finally, sort of standing orders. We look at standing orders, a bank-to-bank transaction. Again, mechanics, once you set it up, it rolls. But, in the case of a standing order, generally speaking, a very inflexible payment method, fixed amounts, and fixed dates, and also triggered by the buyer. So no good for certain recurring revenue models. And what we feel is the best mechanism for collecting payments, direct debit, which is a bank-to-bank transaction whereby a merchant has the ability to pull payments directly from their customer's bank account. Now, this has never been widely available. It's only been available to a few select large corporates that have had the capabilities and resources to facilitate it. And why is that? Well, it's all to do with process. And as you can see from this slide here, the previous direct debit process is an admin nightmare. I'm not going to try and make too much sense of this right now. But what I can tell you about it is that it's extremely admin paper-based, cumbersome process that acts as a huge barrier to entry to any business that's trying to access it. We're looking at long processing times. As an example, to process a paper mandate application form, the initial authorization to set up a direct debit can take up to 3 months to process. 3 months to process with a 30% rejection rate. Again, due to sort of cumbersome admin errors such as bad handwriting, a signature not matching that on a bank's record. And quite frankly, in this day and age, simply just unacceptable, and acts as a huge barrier to entry to any businesses, particularly SMEs who are trying to access this payment mechanism. So what do we do at Curlec to solve that? Well, we move away from that extremely complicated spaghetti diagram to a very simple 3-step solution, whereby now a merchant has the ability to onboard their customer for a recurring payment through what we call is an e-mandate, an electronic mandate, where that sort of 2 to 3 month process becomes 2 to 3 minutes. Subsequently, when you set up that, have that authorization to collect payments, we then can automate the whole collection process for a business, where that's a manual trigger, an automatic trigger, a trigger via an API, and subsequently, once we do those payment collections, also reconcile that in a completely automated and seamless manner. And like I said earlier, or via an API. So for really end-to-end automated recurring payments that acts, and we in effect, serve those underserved businesses that have been unable to access this inaccessible payment product before, direct debit payment mechanism. So that's a summary about what we do. And in terms of the traction we've had so far, since launching in February 2018, we've processed over 400 million ringgit through the platform, which equates to about $100 million US. We serve businesses of all shapes and sizes. And whilst SMEs, have been our main target, we've slowly developed, we've slowly worked our way up into the enterprise segment as well, and really serve businesses of all shapes and sizes across a wide range of industries, that all have the common theme of having a recurring payment need, a recurring revenue model. And sort of when we look at what is the next step for Curlec, what does the future hold for us? I think it's particularly appropriate that we're on this slide because, as I said, they all have the common theme, which is they all have some sort of recurring revenue model. And here at Curlec, we want to serve these businesses even further. these recurring revenue subscription-based models. And why is that? Well, here at Curlec, we are big believers in this whole idea of the subscription economy. This whole notion that more and more commerce is set to become more recurring in nature due to the fact that businesses want recurring income, brand loyalty, predictable income, recurring customers. And from a consumer or buyer perspective, I don't want to buy a product anymore. I don't need to own a product anymore. I can subscribe to a service. It gives me more flexibility. It's more affordable. We can bundle, particular services together, to make it a greater customer offering. And when we do some high-level market sizing, over this industry, this new subscription economy, Credit Suisse estimated that the global subscription economy this year in 2020 is worth $500 billion. $500 billion that's growing at a 17% compound annual growth rate. And sort of also when we look at the ASEAN expected ASEAN GTV for digital payments by 2025, $1 trillion. And this, I'm just taking ASEAN here, not even sort of Asia into my consideration right now, at least for this presentation. So even if we take ASEAN or Asia, even the fraction, taking that as a fraction of this global subscription economy, we're still looking at a sizable market that is not only growing extremely quickly year on year, but I truly believe we are only just scratching the surface of, And obviously here at Curlec, we want a piece of the pie. So how are we going to do that? So I think a lot of my presentation so far has been very focused on payments, particularly direct debit payments, bank-to-bank direct debit payments, and allowing, businesses to, access this previously inaccessible payment products. But whilst, direct debit has been our entry point, we have already enabled additional payment channels to go alongside that, still focus on recurring payments, but, adding additional payment channels. We can now process Visa and MasterCard transactions, credit and debit card transactions. And as we continue to scale, we will still continue to add more and more payment products, on that line. But as I said earlier, we want to get deeper. We want to go deeper. We want to serve these recurring revenue stroke subscription-based businesses even deeper. And how are we going to do that? And we call it end-to-end recurring revenue management, building software, to serve this purpose, building software so that businesses can enter the subscription economy in ASEAN and also Asia, straight from the onboarding process. How do I sign these customers up? The order process, moving beyond just quantity times price. What are different subscription packages I have? Subscription tiers, all the complexity that surrounds that. Billing and invoicing, and having that fully automated and fully integrated into payments, which is what we already do. As I said, we can do online banking and card payments in a moment. I'm quite proud to say that we are the only company in Malaysia who offers fully automated online banking and recurring card payments, and we'll continue to add to this reconciliation and all the reporting and data analytics that goes along with all these subscription-based recurring revenue businesses. So, we want to bring businesses into this new economy, the subscription economy, because we think this is coming really, really fast, much quicker than we actually think it is. And we truly believe that it is going to become the new normal. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.